Good evening, and welcome to Soluble, America's Political Central. Today is August the 22nd in the year of our Lord, 2023. To all Democratic voters, the Democratic Party and the independents that, you know, are erring on the side of caution between the two parties, we have a little more than 24 hours to go before the election cycle for 2024 officially kicks off. A little more than 24 hours before the first Republican primary debates. Now, we know that the former president and current frontrunner, by all polling indicators, will not show up tomorrow for the debates. He will be a no-show. Now, we're taken aback here at Soluble with the former president taking this position or making this decision. I mean, usually when we have somebody running for this highest office in the land, they'll show up to the debates and make the case. Make the case as to why they should be the next commander in chief for the United States of America. But here we have it in this, unprecedented acts and happenings that are going on with the Republican Party, where for all we know, and by all accounts, the first time in history that the leading candidate in the polls will not be showing up to make the case to the American people. And it begs the question, the thought invoking as to, what kind of leader will the former president be? We've seen what he did in 4 years, from 2016 to 2020. Now, with the former president not showing up at the first debate to kick off a new election cycle, what are we getting here? We would like to, have the president come on to the debate stage and explain to us, what kind of vision he has for America's future to take America forward. Now, we've all seen MAGA. We've all seen what it looks like, what it consists of, what it entails. So what will we be getting if the former president was to regain power and re-enter the Oval Office? What are we getting here? Has the former president taken MAGA back to the drawing boards, and now we're going to get a new, improved MAGA? We know that the former president, has governed and presided from a position of strength. We see him walking to the motorcade, or boarding his private Trump jet, and he's constantly shaking a fist, as he's moving towards his motorcade and or the jet. So we know that the former president likes to project a position of strength in his governorship. But we don't know, we don't quite know what we're getting, this time around, because the former president is a no-show. He's a no-show. And, once again, it's unprecedented. We're in uncharted territory here. So, we'll probably have to wait for the second debate. We don't know which way his advisors are leading him. The leading, nominee or candidate for the GOP nomination is a no-show. And then, soon after the first Republican debate, the former president is looking to turn himself in Georgia for a record, jaw-dropping fourth indictment. And he's still, by all polling indicators, the lead man. So we have to take a wait-and-see approach. Like I said, will it be a new and improved MAGA? Will it be revamped in some kind of way? Will it be MAGA with ethics and empathy, in governing? Because we know he governs from a position of strength. But as of now, we don't know. We don't know what we're going to be getting here. Now, the president is on the campaign trail. and we're listening to him, and it's you know, on a regular basis he comes with this statement of, they're coming after you. I'm just in the way. But what or who is they? Who is they that's coming after us? Because the president won't enter the debate stage, for the first debate, we don't know, but he lets us know in the campaign trail that they're coming after us, but he's just in the way. Now, who is they? Is it the Democrats? Is it some kind of a figment of his imagination as far as the deep state is concerned? But that's just what the president has let us know, that they're coming after us. He's just in the way. Or he says, they're after me because I won't let them, I'm standing in the way of them coming after you. So they're after me. So, without having to continue to look over my shoulder, our position here at Soluble is that, we would think that the least the former president can do is come on the debate stage and let us know who they are. Who is it that's coming after us? But right now we have no explanation for it. But taking his word for it and or giving him the benefit of the doubt as far as a Democratic voter and an American citizen, we here at Soluble, we're waiting with bated breath, sitting on somewhat a pins and needles type situation, trying to figure out who they are, or wondering when they are coming or how they are coming. But that's the president's position. Now we don't know if it's a brainwash tactic or what. Maybe some of the Republican voters can inform us. Give us an inside scoop. Maybe some of the people on the former president's inside circle can let us know. But you would think that since he's warning us, and this is classic Republican playbook type stuff, fear mongering, propaganda, where they're coming after us. But yet and still, he won't enter the debates on tomorrow night to let us know who they are that's coming after us. And he's just in the way. Voter beware. So Democrats, we have to take a wait and see approach. And as I said, even though the president is of the opposing party, he's running for president of the United States. So as Democrats, we have to be the bigger party here and, be willing to give the president the benefit of the doubt to take a wait and see approach, unfortunately, as to, what he's talking about. So we look forward to it, if not tomorrow, maybe the next time around at the next set of Republican debates. We don't really have that date right here handy at Soluble, but as soon as we get it, we'll be sure to inform you. Now, the Republican Party is a party that is or has been losing steadily here and there. They've lost more ground since 2016 and putting the president in the Oval Office than they've gained. And, here's the president with a record-breaking, unprecedented 4 indictments, 2 impeachments, and an insurrection under his belt. And he's still the leading candidate. It's hard for us to understand this. Now, as we've stated here at Soluble, by all means, Republican legislators are done. They want something different. And it's not a disagreement with policy. Sadly, it's not, a souring on the former president because of his approach. It's not time to move on for the Republican Party because the president is a flawed candidate when it comes to leading this country. It's none of that. The Republicans legislators, by all accounts, are ready to move on because the former president, has slowly but steadily lost ground for his party and for this set of lawmakers. They've lost local elections, they lost state elections, and they've lost federal elections. And so nothing having nothing to do with policy or the president's approach, lack of integrity, lack of ethics, is just that they're losing, and they feel as though they can't win with the Republican Party. The former president refuses to step down. He refuses to step aside for the good of, first of all, the country, and then second of all, for the good of the party. So it begs the question here tonight at Soluble, going into the first set of Republican debates, which start tomorrow. Now, if the former president will drag the Republican Party down, what will he do with the country if he's president again? Are we prepared to say right now, knowing that the president, has an ego on steroids, that he will drag the Republican Party down, but not the country? It's a risk we can't afford to take. It's a gamble that we can't afford to take. So as Democrats, we already know what we have to do. Our position here at Soluble is just to expose as much hypocrisy as we can. Expose the lies, the misleading truths, of the misleading false statements. And so, that's something that we have to think about as Democrats. And, getting fired up, getting charged up, getting our enthusiasm up to keep this MAGA ideology in the minority. Because we don't feel as if, the former president will drag the Republican Party down and uplift the country. It just doesn't go together. You can't have one without the other. And so, it's always voter beware. And if the Republicans say, they're going right, look for something on the left. If they say they're going up, start to look down for what might be going on, because this is a very tricky situation and a very tricky party. Now, they've got themselves into this pickle by nominating this flawed individual in 2016. And now, where they want him to go away, where they want him to step aside. And it's always happened. It's always happened where there's been a candidate that was leading, in all polls, by all polling indicators. And it could have been something in his personal life. It could have been, a skeleton that came out of the closet. But this is the first time in history where we've had a candidate who refuses to step aside and do what's best for the country and or his party. So we just don't see it happening. There's no Midas touch here where everything turns to gold that the former president touches. It's starting to go sour, real quick, fast, and in a hurry. You have, indictments, lawsuits, at every twist and turn. You have one of the president's former pals, one of his former New York buddies, one of his former attorneys, and Rudy Giuliani. Now, this is a very sad fall from grace, a very sad fall from grace. The former mayor has went from being America's hero just 22 years ago. Next month, he was America's mayor. He was the mayoral hero, America's hero, during the September 11th attacks. And, in 22 years, the former mayor, America's former mayor, hero mayor, savior of the day, leading, a city, a state through a major terrorist attack, has, failed from grace, and he's to the point now where he's struggling. As we stated, these indictments are coming left and right. The lawsuits are coming left and right. And, it puts a financial strain on anyone. And so this is a sad fall from grace here, a very sad fall from grace. Now, you had the former mayor, Giuliani, here he is on January the 6th, 2021, fresh off of a hangover, talking about let's have trial by combat. Let's have trial by combat. Firmly entrenched in the former president's corner, willing to do the former president's bidding to, do whatever it takes, underhanded tactics to overthrow a free and fair election. And now, from then to now, the former mayor is struggling. Right now, what we're realizing here at Soluble is, we don't really know what the former mayor is going to do as far as the Georgia indictments and or lawsuits or court cases, because he's struggling, to find an attorney. Now he's done the former president's bidding, like I said, fresh off of a hangover, talking about trial by combat. We all heard it. Now, he goes down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring, to request and or beg the former president to help him out, because he's in financial straits, soon to be dire financial straits. And by all accounts, from what we know, he's still in the red. So once again, our position here at Soluble is that it begs the question. If the former president will throw a former friend, a former mayoral hero of America under the bus, what will he do for America? Will he throw America under the bus? I mean, we have to look at this as not just, some happenstance where we can, rest assured that, well, the former president, he's thrown Rudy under the bus. Rudy is financially drained and strained, with indictments coming left and right, lawsuits coming left and right. And he did the former president's bidding. The reason why he's in this financial jam that he's in right now is because he chose to go down this path of doing the former president's bidding to, help try to make these lies the truth. And he's gotten himself in a real pickle. Our position here at Soluble is that if he throws the former mayor or former friend under the bus in this type of way, what will he do to America when he's not getting his way? We've never had, a president in the Oval Office who has put himself first. By all accounts, everyone who has raised their right hand and took the oath of office has put what's best for the country first. But yet and still, here we are with the leading nominee for the Republican Party, dragging the Republican Party down. It's possible he'll drag America down with him too. Here we have the former president throwing a former friend under the bus, putting him in dire financial straits, going to bat to, help make his lies become the truth. And he's got himself into a real legal financial pickle here. And the former president is nowhere to be found. So Democrats, we already know. We don't have to be convinced. But what we have to do is, be ready. We have to get prepared. We've done it before. We can do it again. We have to save America from the Republican Party. We have to save the Republican Party from itself. Because, they're intoxicated with Trumpism, and it doesn't seem as if they can see the forest for the trees. And put two and two together here as we here at Soluble is done. Now, in closing, and going forward into the debates, to take a wait and see approach, to be conscientious observers. Our position is that the former president is dragging the Republican Party down, and so therefore he'll drag the country down. Our position here at Soluble is that he's thrown a former friend under the bus, left him hanging, and he'll throw America under the bus and leave us all hanging for the sake of all things Trump, because this is a me president. And he's showing it by the examples that we've just stated in dragging the Republican Party down and, financially ruining a friend with no desire to come to his aid in a form of financial rescue. And we all know he have the money. We all know he have the money. He's raising the money. Have we heard the former president utter anything as far as, to his supporters at these rallies to say, my dear friend Rudy Giuliani is, in some serious, financial difficulties. And so we've started a GoFundMe page, or we started this, fundraising drive to help my former friend. Nothing. We have nothing. And so when it all hits the fan, Rudy is in it by himself. So what's to say, if it hits the fan for America, then we're left with no leader, or a leader that doesn't have a clue, or a leader that's in denial. And so, we're waiting with bated breath. You would think that for the sake of the American psyche, for, giving America and its voters a peace of mind, or, being able to go to bed tomorrow night with the head on the pillow, having heard from the former president and what his mission is in taking America into the next 4 years. But it's nothing. It's a no-show. It's a no-show. Now they're coming after us. He's just in the way. They're coming after him because he won't let them do damage to us. And so that they remains a mystery. That they remains a mystery until the former president, finally decides to show up on the debate stage. It remains a mystery. We don't know who they are and from which direction they're coming, because the former president has no explanation for us. I mean, he's filled us with fear. He's filled us with suspense, and everyone looks forward to hearing the plan of how he's going to thwart their efforts, in coming after us, with him being in the way. But he has nothing for us. And so, we have to take a wait and see approach there. We have to take a wait and see approach. We're going to start after tomorrow's first debate, begin to break it down once again. Now, if you recall, if you go back into the archive, we firmly stated before the midterms in 2022 that, any gains or any majority that the Republicans came away with, we would be having investigations. And so far it's panned out to be exactly the way we called it here at Soluble. So we're gonna watch, we're gonna listen, and we're gonna begin to break it down to you, the American people, the American voter, as to, what the consequences are if there is a Republican majority, if there is a Republican entering the Oval Office in the year 2024. Now, the current president is in office, building back better. He's building back better. Economists like what he's doing. The job market is on the increase. Deployment is down and are holding steady. And so, the president is vying for another 4 years, saying, let's finish the job. And as much as we begged him, as much as we requested, as much as we pleaded with him to run in 2020 to save America, it would be foolish of us to, feel with 4 years under his belt that we need new leadership. Why? Has he not delivered? Has he not delivered? post-pandemic. Things are slowly, excuse me, things are slowly getting back to normal. So the president is delivering on his promises. He knows that the American people are watching. And as we stated last night, one of the leading indicators that show that the current president is a good leader is that he listens. He listens. He listens. And so with President Joseph R. Biden in the Oval Office, we can rest assured that we has a leader who hears us, who hears our complaints, who hears our concerns. And he goes to Washington and gets busy, trying to bring the parties together, trying to create a compromise there to get legislation passed on behalf of the American people. So here we go. The next leading candidate, by all polling indicators, is Governor DeSantis here in the great state of Florida. So, we know that he'll be taking, a lot of heat tomorrow. A lot of, bullets, so to speak, will be coming his way because he is the leading candidate. So he will be the one most likely facing attack. But there's no need in us going there. There's opposition here at Soluble is that, there is really no need to go there unless, things change and the governor becomes the front runner. And it looks like, a surefire shoe-in that he will be the nominee going up, to debate against the current president, Joseph R. Biden. And so, that's pretty much where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We have to hold the line as Democrats, to save the country. To save the country. Now, with, America becoming more and more diverse, and, leadership can come from any corner, any race right now in America. And that's, that's an uncomfortable place for Republicans. They're not interested in that. They're not happy about, the best person for the job gets the job, regardless of race, creed, or color. That's not where they're at. And so from their point of view, the Democrats are dangerous. Joseph R. Biden is dangerous because, in their minds, the Democrats want to do a great replacement of Caucasians in America and replace them with Negroes and immigrants or what have you. This is the Republicans' position. We here at Soluble is just, we're just repeating, what they said, what they're thinking. That is some kind of deep state within the Democratic Party that's trying to do a great replacement. And nothing can be further than the truth. Nothing can be further than the truth. We know that, we serve a true and living God has given mankind of all races the charge to be fruitful and multiply. So here we are with equal opportunity to do just that we've been commanded to do. So, a great replacement is just another fear tactic, just another scare tactic, to gin up votes, because the ideals that the Republican Party have are something out of the early 1940s, from the time the Dixiecrats revolted after Truman decided that it was time to integrate the military. It's the same policies, rehashed, verbalized to you in a different way. The words are being rearranged, but the aim and goal is all the same. Is all the same. And so, we have a party that's seriously interested in legislating, seriously interested in investigating with no end in sight. Now, let's let the chips fall where they may as Democrats. If there's a Democrat in office, running for office, or what have you, and he's corrupt, he has some kind of dirt on him there that disqualifies him. We have to bring it to light for the sake of the country, for the sake of moving the republic forward continuously in a way that works for everyone to have an equal opportunity to achieve a piece of the American dream. And this is not, where the focus of the Republican Party is at. Nothing has changed since the early 1940s when the Dixiecrats revolted. And so, because the Republicans don't have fresh ideas, new ideas to win over young voters, to win over so called minorities, they attempt to scare you. They attempt to lie and say that, we have a crime family in the Oval Office with no desire, with feeling no sense of urgency whatsoever to do the same with fellow Republicans. And so here we go. Democrats, as I said, let's get ready. We're looking for a solution here. And that's our sole purpose of coming on the air. Our Republican colleagues continue to govern from a position of folded arms. They're firmly established as the party of no. And so, Joe Biden's policies are working slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, they're working. And, if you notice, if you look carefully, there's nothing there. There's nothing there that the Republicans have to run against it. Now, we look forward tomorrow to hearing, about these policies, and looking to see where the rubber meets the road. Is it doable? We're listening to the debate, to the debaters on the stage. We're looking forward to listening to the fact checkers, economic experts, generals who've been on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who know what it's like, in dealing with foreign government, foreign adversaries, to hear what they have to say, when it comes to anything that has to do with foreign policy. It's a party that champions a strong military. But as we stated last night, Senator Tuberville is seriously compromising the American military's ability to lead, to take charge. Well, we have all these open slots that are not filled because the distinguished senator from Alabama feels as if a woman's right to choose is more of a clear and present danger than having these slots filled. And we know this is totally absurd. This is something that can be dealt with, in a different manner, in closed room debate, in, closed Republican Party debate. And you would think that, for a party that champions a strong military, they would have already solved this, figured it out by now, been able to approach the senator from Alabama and just plainly, simply tell them that this is the wrong approach. This is not the way to get this policy of abortion for the military, women in the military. This is not the way to get it solved and resolved. But no, they let him have his way. And at the same time, they want us, the American people, the American voters, to still feel as if they champion a strong military. Well, how can you do that? How can you have a strong military when there are leadership slots at the top that haven't been filled? It's causing our military to be seriously compromised. And so we will be paying close attention to the debate starting tomorrow, ready to, point out any and all discrepancies from the Republican Party. If our fellow Democrats in the meantime, while this is going on, misrepresent or are not doing the will of the voter, it's our job as we the people to call it out, to take the wrong and make it right. But what we must do and what we should do as determined Democrats is not turn back the hands of time to, give this Oval Office up to the former president again, because we know what it's going to be like. For the first time in history, we have a former president, and by all polling indicators now, leading another charge for Oval Office bid, but doesn't care anything about America, anything. Now, although Republican legislators have soured on the former president because he hasn't produced the victories, by and large, the American voting electorate, which makes up the Republican voters, they haven't abandoned. This is serious, wet soup, if you will, from the Republican voters. This is, the Republicans can do, the former president can do no wrong. And so, that's where, misinformed, ill-informed, or voters who are not able to clearly understand party or see the serious dangers here have went all in wet soup on the president. Now, wet soup is a military term that our drill sergeants forced upon us back in my days, in the late 80s, early 90s, in my basic training. And wet soup simply stands for we eat that shit up. Wet soup. And that was something that, that was the mentality that we had to have, even if we was in the front leaning rest position, knocking out push-ups, even if we had to double time, holding up a 40-pound rucksack, 50-pound rucksack. It was wet soup. Whether we liked it or not, we ate that shit up. And so this is where the Republican voters are at. The president can do no wrong because he's just racist enough after the first African American in American history had entered the White House. They went all in wet soup because the former president, was, man enough, if you will, to stoke this fear, to fuel these lies and false innuendo as far as fake birth certificates, and doing anything in his power to delegitimize the former President Obama's presidency. And so here we are. Full-fledged wet soup from Republican voters. Now, the former president has a lot of entities. And as I said, if he drags the Republican Party now, what will he do with America? If he stole a former friend under the bus and has him in financial straits, as far as trying to defend him, trying to help him promote lies and false claims of a stolen election, he's more likely going to throw us under the bus. So, give us some reassurance. We're asking our Republican voters now, to give us some reassurance. Bring something to light in all of this darkness. Now, like as I said, the president has a lot of entities, and by all accounts, the voters have went all in wet soup. And so, our position here at Soluble is to give us some kind of relief in knowing. We've heard of the entities, but we don't really see them out there being promoted. We don't see them in the commercials. We looking forward to seeing, Republican voters come forth and testify and verify, how good it is, how legitimate it is when it comes to Trump Ice, Trump Magazine, Trump Chocolate. I mean, they're really drinking the Kool-Aid here. And so, since you're drinking it wholeheartedly, obviously you haven't got enough. There must be something about the taste of it. So, let us know also how this Kool-Aid that you're drinking, and reach for this pie in the sky simultaneously. Let us know, as the American voters in general, prove us wrong. Show us some legitimacy in it. Trump Homes, when it comes to furnishing. Trump Productions. Where are the movies? What is he producing on Truth Social? Where's the legitimacy here? Where are the directors, have worked on the Trump productions, and what's been produced as far as movies, documentaries, um, you know, documentaries on how great America is and how great America could be. We have nothing. We have nothing but a name there. Trump Institute. We seen back in 2016, somewhere 2017 there, where the Trump Institute or the Trump College or whatever it was, had to start repaying people money because the diplomas, the degrees, or what have you, what wasn't worth the paper they were printed on. Well, maybe things have changed from then to now. We want to give the former president the benefit of the doubt. Our position here at Soluble is as we've stated, when the president wins, when the former president wins, we all win. But we're asking the voters, we're asking Republican legislators, give us something here. You're out on the campaign trail. Let us know what it's like. How many MAGA voters, MAGA supporters have sent their children to Trump Institute? Tell us what a great school it is. What a vast amount of knowledge and learning that you experience at Trump Institute. Trump Shuttle, where has it carried you? Has it put a man on the moon? Has it got the technology to put rovers on Mars, Saturn, Jupiter? What? From Trump Shuttle? Is it some shuttle service that moves people around New York City from point A to point B, from tourist attraction to tourist attraction? What are the rates? How great does the shuttle service work? Is it on time? Is it departures on time? Is it arrival on time? Trump Mortgage, Trump Vodka, Trump Steaks. Now, this would be something great to go with the Kool-Aid that the Trump supporters are drinking. How does this steak taste? Is it tender? Is it stringy and tough? Give us something here. Give us something. The president has all these entities that, we hear nothing about. We see them on paper. We look them up and do our research and see all these things in the name of the former president. And so we're appealing to, our Republican voters who are giving the former president their full support because they feel as if, he's the best hope for America going into 2024 and beyond. Help us out here. Give us something to believe. Pay for airtime on television. Put some commercials out supporting some of these entities. The president's so great. He's such a great businessman. Can we get at least three? And that's, we don't feel here at Soluble that that's asking too much. Can we get 3 graduates or people who have went to the Trump Institute and now, they've left the Institute with a vast amount of knowledge, with a wealth of knowledge and experience, and are ready to go out into the world and, get a job that pays, $250,000 a year or better. Something we can believe in. Because we've heard time and time again that the former president, is a great businessman. And so there you have it. You have a lot of entities with Trump's name attached to them. So, put it out there. Let us see the reviews. Tell us about your experience in dealing, with whether you're dealing with the Institute, home furnishings, whether you're drinking the vodka, whether you're eating this Trump steaks, whether you experience, a great experience dealing with Trump Shuttle, whether you have a big house, on the hill, in a great bargain, in a great location. As far as dealing with Trump Mortgage, right now, all we're getting is crickets. And so it's a wait and see approach. And that's what we should do as Democrats, giving the former president the benefit of the doubt, to see what MAGA looks like revamped, here some 4 years later. Because that's the former president's position. that we know what his presidency is like. He's leading, by huge numbers in the polls. And so there's no need for him to show up at the first debate. And so, we wait, we wait. And that's all we can do. But while we're waiting, as Democrats and those independents who will let common sense prevail and know that, the former president is a very flawed individual as far as, vying for another 4 years to lead this great nation forward. We wait. And, while we wait, we begin to recruit. We begin to debate, and communicate with fellow Democrats as to the sense of urgency here. And we will, here at Soluble, break it all down when it comes to the economy, foreign policy, climate change, prescription drug prices, Medicaid, all the things that affects us as everyday Americans, and that we're looking for, a presidential leader to bring us out of on the other side better than we were before. We know what the current president in office is doing. He has his sleeves rolled up, he's listening, and he's working. He's in Maui. He'll probably soon be in California dealing with the after effects of Hurricane Hillary. We have other storms blowing in. Climate crisis, left and right. And so we have a current president in office. And anything that's broke, he's working hard to fix it. And so as Democrats, we have to be ready. We put this former president in the minority once. We can do it again. And as I said, we have to thank our lucky stars because we see what he's doing to the Republican Party. He's dragging it down. He's dragging it down. But we're thankful that, the former president is the leader and head president of the Republican Party. And Joseph R. Biden is the leader and president of the United States of America. So we're safe. We've dodged a bullet here. But the gun is reloaded. And so, we have to get ready. We look forward to breaking it all down to you after listening tomorrow to see what anything fresh. We know what compassionate conservatism looks like. We know what deregulation looks like. We know what, the idea of a strong military looks like. We're not going to give examples now as it relates to positive examples and or negative examples. We look forward to the debates, giving all Republican candidates the benefit of the doubt to see what's fresh and new. Because, as I said, of all the aforementioned things that I just stated, we know what it's like. So get ready. Tomorrow it begins. And so we look forward to coming back on the other side, on the back side of these Republican debates and, keeping you informed, separating fact from fiction. If the Republicans have good ideas, if they have, great plans for the country, we're going to say it. We're going to call it like it is. Because at the end of the day, even though we're staunch Democrats, this is not about partisanship. Once again, what's best for America and who is the best one, male and or female, to get the job done. That's what's at stake here. This should be, the first and foremost thing that we care about. And then party affiliation second. So if Republicans have great ideas for the future, if they have anything that's fresh and new, we look forward to hearing it. And once it's over, we'll give it to you as we see it here at Soluble. Opposition always is to solving with debate, being conscientious objectors. There may be some things we agree with, but at the end of the day, we're here to solve and get back to politics 101, when politicians, whether they be on the left and or the right, was willing to reach across the aisles for compromise in order to get things done for the American people. So we thank you for joining us here tonight at Soluble. We just wanted to come on and, make sure that we're ready as Democrats, ready to, be the vanguards, the protectors of democracy going forward, because we know that the Republican Party has went astray. This is way out of the norm for Ronald Reagan Republicans by their own standards. This is way out of bounds. This is so far right till they're dangling. They're dangling on the edge. And the former president is right there to push him over the edge if he can't win. And that's where he's at as far as, the Republican Party be damned. If he can't be the leader, then no one can have it. So let's get ready. Let's get ready to listen. Let's get ready to push back, to challenge any falsehoods, and more than anything, be ready to rock the boat come November 2024 to keep this majority that we have, and at the same time save the nation. So until we meet again on the backside of these Republican primary debates, stay vigilant, stay observant, and we look forward to continuing this discussion, trying to solve political gridlock and do what's best, as far as taking America forward, not just for some Americans, but for all of us as Americans, whether we're native born and or immigrants, work visas, temporary stays, or what have you, to make America a land of equal opportunity for all who live in it. Until the next time, this is Soluble signing off. We thank you for joining us. Good night and God bless. Until we meet again, this is Soluble signing out. Thank you and good night.